Roman Catholic altar. Catholic is an altar. It is an altar, and when we were doing the egg cleanse, which we're going to be doing again, by the way, guys, we're going to be doing the egg cleanses again for the beginning of the new year. You saw, some of you had towers that were not touching the top. When you do an egg cleanse, all the towers that are inside the egg cleanse are showing altars that have been built against your essence. And Catholic is one denomination that has built so many towers against the essence of woman, especially the black woman and the black child. So whether you are aware of it or not, there are altars out there that are against your own essence. And today I just want to make you aware and how to protect yourself on a daily basis, because sometimes you can be supporting something that is against your essence. For example, people who go to Catholic church and you are a black person, you are supporting something that, an altar that has been made against you. And so you are walking around supporting something that is against your own essence. I don't want to get deep into it with you guys because you are untellable. A lot of you are stiff-necked people. When you're told, you don't want to listen. So it is upon you, when the time comes, you will realize the truth. But I'm not here to beg anybody to comprehend the demonicness of the Catholic Church. I'm here to talk to the people who are already out of it, like myself. People who are born in it, people who grew up in it, people who are forced to be in it due to school. Those are the people I'm talking to the most. People who are already out of the Catholic are the ones I'm talking to the most. So the ones who are still in it, you can continue. Continue. You can continue. Nobody cares, because at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your own milele that you're missing out on, and nobody else's. So we don't care. Me, I'm looking good. Other people are looking good. We are moving towards milele. We are moving towards our lives. You can stay where you are if you are happy. And if you're afraid also to move, don't get out. Because nobody will babysit your ego. Nobody will carry you. When you leave the Catholic Church, when you're not ready to walk in spirituality there is no group work. It is one person, everyone for himself, God for us all. Everyone for themselves, the Creator for us all. So don't leave the church if you know you cannot stand alone. Because you will come out here, you will find us who are standing alone, and you will want somebody to carry you. Nobody is ready to carry you if you're not ready to walk on a spiritual journey alone. So at the end of the day, if you feel like you're still weak, too weak to walk on your own, stay in church, please. Maybe you'll give back to a child who will have the courage to walk alone. Ascension is not for everybody. Milele is not for everybody. And spiritual elevation is not for everybody. The golden age is not for everybody. The city of gold is not for everybody. It's only for the people who are willing to hold life by the balls and move. If you're not willing, nobody will carry you. Here, we don't even carry our own mothers. We don't even carry our own sisters. In spirituality, you cannot even carry your own child if they cannot walk on their own. That's how serious spirituality is. So if you know you are a weakling, stay in church. If you know you are a weakling, stay in church and stay with your own people. At least there is a community. Even if you are lying to each other, stay there. Because when you come out of Christianity into spirituality, and you are not ready to walk alone, you're going to be depressed to death, and you'll die a miserable death. So, the great cheese of 1054. And guys, when I bring you this particular information, I want you to go and do research on your own. And this is why I prioritize putting the correct spelling. If you know how to write the great cheese, maybe you've come across it, please write it in the comment section for me. If you don't know, then let me write it so that people can see what I am talking about. Do you know about the great cheese of 1054? We are still continuing with the topic, with the last week's topic, mostly Catholic. We are still on Catholic and decolonizing and erasing the Vatican. So when I talk about the great cheese, and this is what I'm talking about. Has anybody ever come across the great cheese? If you've never come across it, let me just put it so that you look at it. Have you ever come across this? Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm Luo. I'm a Luo. Oh my people, I love it when I bring to you gospel that you've not heard before, because now I'm going to enjoy. And before I begin this, let me just say my prayer. Hail a set full of authenticity, the multiverse is graceful to you. Favored are you in motherhood, and favored is the fruit of your womb. Authentic asset, mother of all. Favor my authenticity and our authenticity here. Your fruits, now and all the hours of our lives. Ash. You know, sometimes I'm here teaching people and somebody is seated anafinya mkundu nishindwa kuongea. So sometimes it's just good to pray. We don't know what people are doing on the other side. Some people are here, are on the other side with a voodoo doll, trying to shut my mouth. So sometimes it's good to pray. Nah? Sometimes it's just good to pray before you start your stuff. So this is the great cheese. Please go check it out as I teach. Go check it out as I teach. So now, the great schism of 1054 at the onset of Catholics fall. Catholic has not started falling right now. Catholic started falling the moment it was created. The only thing they did, you see the way Candace Owen is right now exposing Macron and that wife Brigitte or something. People have always known that there were two men. But now, why didn't the public know? From the onset of their marriage, everybody knew that there are two men. But now they used to kill everybody. There's so much life that have been lost because of these men that have been with men in relationship disguising themselves as heterosexual couples. There's no problem being with a man in a relationship. The problem comes in when you want to lie to God. When you want to cheat God. If you are a man with a man in a relationship, just come out that I'm with a man in a relationship. Nobody will beat you up. So many men are with other men in relationship. But now just that lie. And then making sure that anybody that dares to question you is dead. So this is the same with the Catholic. Catholic was dead on arrival. But the reason why it's now that we are starting to know the truth about it is because anybody that dared to talk shit was murdered. Anybody that dared to talk shit was taken to mental institutions. Anybody that dared to expose the truth they were told, oh, you are mentally unstable, you're mentally ill. So now, the Catholic witchcraft was mainly supported and upheld by the Eastern Greeks and the Western Latinas. Listen to this very well, oh. Listen to this very well, because whatever I'm about to teach here, let's just, and go research, go read widely. And if you find that I'm not telling the truth, you are also allowed to come tell me that, oh, by the way, I found out that you are not telling the truth. I take my time to read. I take my time to research. I take my time to put my eyes on the things that the public is not putting their eyes on. And that is why I have this information. Some people wonder, how does she get the information? Najituma. I use my Capricorn energy. I use my Capricorn energy. The reason why you don't know, and I know, is because you are not using your Capricorn energy to seek this information. And I'm always saying, if today I was to tell you, start paying attention to red cars, start paying attention to red cars, you will notice that there is a red car that is plain, there's red cars that are a little bit dark, you will notice all types of red cars. Because you're sending yourself to notice, and that is where I am. So when I come to talk about these things, it's because I send myself, I utilize myself to find this information. So listen, the great schism of 1054 was the onset of Catholics' fall. Look at when Catholics started falling, 1054. We are in 2025. 1054 was when the Catholic Church started falling. And look at how much the fall was dragged. The fall was dragged so much that we are in 2025 and the Catholic has not yet fallen yet. So So that's how much you, and imagine the number of people that died in the middle. Just trying, even black people dying, black people being told not to learn how to read and write, all of that was a part of the process. The Sphinx and the artifacts being destroyed, all of that was part of the process of the Catholic Church trying to keep its credibility. So now, the Catholic witchcraft was mainly supported and upheld by the Eastern Greeks and the Western Latinas. During the Great Schism of 1054, the Western Latinas split from the Greek East to form their own Orthodox Church due to differences that were impossible to solve. Right now we have Orthodox. Somebody's saying it will never fail. You can bet on that. I can put 1 million and you put 1 million and then we give each other 5 years. I won't even give you 10 years. Give each other, you know, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. But you can you put your own money on it? Can you put your money and say it will never fall? Because right now it has already fallen and disintegrated so much that the Vatican is broke. When the Vatican is broke, it's just a matter of time. So now, during the Great Schism of 1054, the Western Latinas split from the Eastern Greeks to form their own Orthodox Church due to differences that were impossible to solve. Up to today, you always hear, oh, the Orthodox Church in Russia is saying that Jesus is black. The Orthodox. That particular news is real news. It's just that every time it comes out, the mainstream media is still on the side of Catholic, and so that news doesn't come out properly. But there's a time that news is going to come out properly. Because one of the reasons why Orthodox separated itself from Catholic was because of who is Jesus. They couldn't agree. So now, during the Great Schism of 1054, the Western Latin and the split from the Greek East to form their own Orthodox Church due to the differences that were impossible to solve. These differences that were impossible to solve were termed as ecclesiastical differences in governance. They couldn't agree in their mode of government. And also theological disputes between the Greeks and the Latinas. So what were some of the theological disputes and the ecclesiastical differences? Major causes of the Great Schism as recorded in history. Procession of the Holy Spirit. This was one of the causes. Procession of the Holy Spirit, or rather the Trinity differences, or rather the filioque. Please, when I say it, I want you to go research the filioque. Actually, you can just say one of the reasons why Orthodox separated from Catholic was because of the filioque. When you just say the filioque, you will know what it means. So go research on the filioque controversy. And me, I want to put you up on the spellings. Filioque is spelled like this. The filioque controversy, just mark this word, the Great Schism, the filioque controversy, filioque. Here is the filioque, somebody is asking how to spell the filioque controversy. Have you seen the spelling? So now, what was the filioque controversy? What is the filioque controversy? After stealing Aset, Heru, and Asar Trinity. Remember, the original Trinity is Aset, Heru, and Asar. That is the Trinity. The day is the same as the body and it's the same as the year. That is the Trinity of Aset, Heru, and Asar. So now, after stealing Aset, Heru, and Asar Trinity, the Greeks and the Latinas could not agree on the correct arrangement of the Trinity, especially from the fact that the Greek Trinity was entirely masculine, transgender, and included no femininity in creation.
Isn't it nuts?
For this reason, the Orthodox separated from Catholic. So the Orthodox were like, hey, you are coming up with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. There is no feminine in that particular arrangement, that particular Trinity. The original Trinity was Aset, Heru, and Asar. The day, the body, and the year. But then the Greeks, they stole that, and then they came and they said it's going to be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. and the Orthodox Church could not agree, and that is one of the reasons why they separated. So mark the reasons. This is a university, we are teaching school here. Because these are some of the things that will help you in life. It will help you answer a lot of questions whose answers you don't have. So now, for the second, that is the first reason, the filioque controversy. The filioque controversy was all about the Trinity, the arrangement of the Trinity. Me, when I started teaching spirituality, I started with the Trinity. Why? Because that is what the very root of spirituality. The Trinity of Aset, Asar, and Heru. That is the correct Trinity. But then the Catholics, they masculinize it. So instead of saying God the body, they said God the Father. Instead of saying the Howard, they say the Son. And instead of saying the great seer, they say the Holy Spirit. So listen, that verse that always says, John chapter 3 verse 16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whoever believed in him could not perish. But that is nonsense. The true verse is, for Aset, the mother of all, so loved the world that she gave her only begotten child, Heru, the hours of the day. So that whoever believed in Heru, the hours of the day, would not perish, but would have eternal life. When you look at it like that, Aset is authenticity. Authenticity so loved the world that it gave its only begotten child self-belief that you utilize every single hour of your day. If you don't believe in yourself every single hour of your day, you'll never have eternal life. If you believe in yourself every single hour of the day, then you will have eternal life. So for God so loved the world is nonsense. That is not a patriarchal bullshit that does not work. You know one thing about us, spiritual people, we've been in Christianity. We've dug, we love heaven so much, we've been looking for it everywhere. And I will tell you this for free, Christianity does not have heaven. Does not work. And the people who are in Christianity, they are pretending that it is working to make other people jealous, to judge other people, to be energy vampires against other people. But they know at the back of their mind that it doesn't work, because we've been there, all of us. Anybody who has been spiritual started from Christianity because they were looking for heaven. Some of us are born here to look for heaven direct. And we look for it everywhere. And when we look here, it is not there we live. We look here, it is not there we live. We look until we reach spirituality and then we see, hey, now this one is working, now I'm staying. That is who we are. So Christianity does not work. It is for people who are afraid to walk alone. Let's continue. That is the first reason is the filioque controversy of the Trinity. The second reason for the split between Catholic and Orthodox, this is the reason why the Russians and the Europeans, they hate each other. Because the Russians are Orthodox, the Europeans, they are Catholic. So now the second reason why Russia broke away from, remember, Europe was not a continent. Eurasia was a continent. Europe and Russia were together. Then they split. And these are the reasons why. Everything goes back to spirituality. They split because of spirituality. The second reason for the split between Catholic and the Orthodox was about whether unleavened bread that stood for purity was to be used at the Eucharist, or leavened bread that stood for sin and impurity was to be used as the Eucharist. So now listen, it might not, when we talk about leaven and unleavened bread, some people, they don't get it because that is a metaphoric representation. So now, people who are in Kenya, people who are in Africa, you know something that is called chapati. Chapati. Do you know chapati? Do you know chapat? Chapat is the unleavened bread. Chapat. Anybody knows chapat? Now chapat is the unleavened bread, and then we have bread that is made of yeast. And then we have bread that is made of yeast, and that is the leavened bread. So this, listen, you might think that this is a small issue to break a whole church, but you're going to find out why. The second reason for the split between Catholic and Orthodox was about whether unleavened bread, which is chapati, that stood for purity was to be used for euchresia. Euchresia is good mixture, or the leavened bread, mkate, that stood for sin and impurity because of its yeast. Availability of microbes inside of it was to be used as disgracia. So now the Catholics, they said we want to use the disgracia one. We want to use the impure, the leavened bread. And they use that up to today. And it is because of the Catholics that leavened bread is everywhere in the world and very famous, even in Africa. And then chapati is the one that is looked down upon, and that is the most pure, and it leads to euchresia. Chapati is good mixture, bread, which is leavened, is bad mixture. Now, why did the Catholic agree on the disgracia, the leavened bread, to lower the vibration of the public during Eucharist? You know Eucharist, sao was to be taken with the unleavened bread. But the Catholics, they said, nope, that unleavened bread is an African thing, leave it, we don't want it, as we want the leavened bread that has yeast in it. And I'm going to explain to you the symbolism behind it. Now, the Catholic was for disgracia, which is bad mixture, as Eucharist, while the Orthodox Church was for euchresia, which is good mixture for the Eucharist. Somebody's saying, okay, whatever. So the third, I'm going to come back to this particular euchresia and disgracia thing. So don't forget about it. The leavened and unleavened bread, that was another reason. Just leavened bread and unleavened bread. Or what do you want me to explain? Euchresia. Euchresia is E-U-C-R-A. And then Sia. And then disgracia is D-I-S. And then crasia. Disgracia, euchresia. In medicine, euchresia is good mixture of the elements. And then in medicine, disgracia is bad mixture of the elements. My students, you know this, I've taught you this before. So the third reason for the separation of Catholic and Orthodox was iconoclasm. Iconoclasm. I wrote it last week. Can somebody remember? Can somebody recall iconoclasm?
Iconoclasm.
Guys, please be remembering my work. Iconoclasm. So this is another reason why the Orthodox Church separated from the Catholic Church. Why? The third reason for the separation of Catholics and Orthodox was iconoclasm, which meant the church's participation in destruction of all original spiritual icons of Alkebulan and indigenous communities. The Catholic Church was fully in support of iconoclasm, while the Orthodox Church was not. It was iconoclasm that destroyed the noses. When you look at Egypt, you find their noses have been removed. And you wonder, what happened? That was iconoclasm. There was an era where Catholics dedicated themselves to destroying anything that was a spiritual icon that was contrary to the gospel that they were spreading. And so it was because of iconoclasm that the Egyptian, the Kemetic gnosis of African artifacts were destroyed in a bid to change their identity and erase them from history. It was because of iconoclasm that all women that taught the Greek philosophers were erased from history. It was because of iconoclasm. It was iconoclasm that conducted the book burning ceremonies and book drowning ceremonies and rituals in the ocean. Some people don't know that Catholics used to gather each other in multitudes. The same way you gather each other to go protest, Catholics would gather each other and burn books. They would get into libraries that had African icons as the icons of spirituality, and they would burn everything. They would take books that they couldn't burn into the middle of the ocean and drown those books. And all that was done because of iconoclasm And it was iconoclasm that flipped the maps upside down, renamed the world, and changed the biblical translation from feminine to masculine. So one thing, I'm telling you all this for you to see the type of work that the Catholics were willing to do just to erase Africans as the indigenous owners of spirituality. And when you see the type of work that they were willing to do, then you must know the type of work that we must be willing to do to bring back everything. Some people are too lazy for the spiritual work. If right now I'm to tell you I'm in the process of rewriting the Bible, page by page, and I will not wait for anybody to clap for me. I'm doing it because I feel called to do it. And it is a process that I've started. And some people, if you tell them to do that, they will not. Catholics did not leave anything to chance. They destroyed everything from their heart, and they were dedicated to destroying everything. Even if nobody was going to give them anything, they were dedicated to destroy because they knew the fruits that they were sowing. Look at the Catholic now. It is the world church. It is the dominating everywhere. Why? Because they did the work to remove all the obstacles out of their way. And they succeeded. Now as Africans, don't just be mouthy. You're just talking, oh, when are we going back to our ways? Oh, you are still in the matrix. Some people, they live for telling others you are still in the matrix. What are you doing at an individual level to get the world out of the matrix? Nothing. Your job is to walk online telling people you are still in the matrix. You're still in the matrix, but you're doing nothing at an individual level to get the world out of the matrix. It's not an easy job. It is not a mouthy job where you just talk, no action. We are done talking. Even as we started by telling people, you are in the matrix, you are in the matrix. But you cannot tell people you are in the matrix forever. There reaches a point where now you take your own role in the great circle of life and you don't wait to be clapped for. You take your own role and you find out what to do for the coming. Future generations are coming. The future generations are on their way, and what they will find here is what they will move with. What do you want them to find? You want them to find you talking to everybody. You are in the matrix. You are in the matrix and doing nothing behind closed doors. Do some real work, like translating the Bible back, because nobody is going to do it. No, even the government will not support anybody. We will have to do it by ourselves. Spiritual people, if you're listening to me, know there is a lot of work here to be done, and there's no salad, there's no physical salad. Are you willing? There is a lot of spiritual work here to be done, but there is no physical clapping. Nobody will clap for you. Nobody will give you an award. Are you willing? The only people who will give you an award is maybe 200 letters when you're already dead. 300 later. 300 years later is when the descendants will be like, oh my God, I'm so grateful they did that. Are you willing to do that work? Some people just mouthy, talk. Now the fourth reason for the separation of Catholic and Orthodox was the coronation of the Empire of Rome. Now this empire was called Charlemagne, or something like that. And this one I'm not going to explain. I want you to go read about Charlie on your own and know the reason why the Orthodox Church had to separate from this particular demon. This is the name. If you are interested, go read about him. And then you will know the beginning of things like pedophilia,
Charlemagne,
sleeping with little boys and stuff like that. Go read about this guy. This guy was coronated as the Empire of the Romans, and that was where the Orthodox Church drew the line and said, no, we're not coming with you guys. Now the fifth reason was the Pope's claim to universal jurisdiction, and the Pope being the only worshipped figure. They gave the Pope supreme authority. The Roman Catholic Church decided that the Pope is God. Everybody, as long as you identify as a Catholic, the Pope is God, and that is where the Orthodox Church drew the line. And they said, nope, we will never worship the Pope. And so they had to go their way because of that. Now the last major reason for the great, and you know, even today the Pope is God in Catholic. Have you guys seen the way people behave with the Pope? Have you ever seen the way Catholics behave around the Pope? The Pope was made God. The Pope was made God by the Catholic Church. So if you see them worshiping the Pope, don't wonder why. That is the law. That was the law. Up to that particular point, guys, are we together? Are you comprehending where I'm coming from? Are you seeing? There is no portal that they will open. The only thing that needed to happen for Catholic to disappear was the black woman needed to wake up. The black woman was the only person who was going to get rid of the Catholic Church. Because the moment the black woman wakes up, everything must fall in line. There's no longer joking around. So now the last major reason for the great separation between the Catholic and the Orthodox Church was the place of the See of Constantinople in relation to Pentarchy. Now let me tell you what this means. This thing dictated that spiritual government was to be strictly given to patriarchs only. And that zero matriarch was to be seen as a spiritual supreme or a spiritual figure. The Latin Orthodox disagreed while the Catholics united in acceptance. So this was the last thing that made them separate. Among the Catholics, they decided patriarchal figures were the only people to be given spiritual supremacy. No matriarchs in spiritual supremacy. It was all patriarchy. And you can see it is patriarchy even up to today. In ancient Africa, during the worship of Mother, we had mothers. And then Catholics, they came, they brought fathers and sisters. While during an ancient asset worships, we had mothers and brothers. The brothers were there for protection only. They were there for military protection of the church, military protection of spirituality, while the mothers were the heads and the supreme beings. When the Greeks took over, they made fathers and sisters. Sisters are useless in the Catholic Church, and then fathers are the supreme. You see, if you have spiritual eyes, I don't need to explain further. Now it was due to these differences that the Great Schism occurred, shrinking the Catholic Church that was once the only politically accepted religion of the world. There is a timeline where Catholic is the only politically accepted religion in the world. There is no other denomination. But then Lutheran separated. It also started as Catholic. Anglican separated. It also started as Catholic. The Methodist Church also separated. It also started as Catholic. Even the Orthodox, all of them started as Catholic and then separated later. I will talk about the seventh day later, because now seventh day is the church of the obelisk. But that one we will talk about it later. Now the Catholic demonic altar. The use of leavened bread. You remember the leavened bread that we were talking about? It determines everything in the Catholic Church. It determines everything in the Catholic Church. So now, the use of the leavened bread as the Eucharist food instead of unleavened bread by Catholics is symbolism for the spread of demonic rather than angelic ideologies in the Catholic altar. Now, stay with me. In ancient mythologies, unleavened bread was used in the wilderness and among spiritual sheep because unleavened symbolized the word of the Creator in its purest, untainted form. Now, I want to explain to you unleavened and leavened. Today, by the time you're done with this life, you will know the exact difference between unleavened and leavened, so that when they talk about it in the Bible, you know the symbolism behind it. So now, on this world, we have sheep. Sheep is not a bad thing. Sheep is God's creation. But who is the shepherd of the sheep? Heru, Who are the sheep? Sheep are anybody who is born and moving towards milele. They're moving towards eternal life. Remember, the journey towards eternal life, you pass through the wilderness where you don't know anything, and it is the day that is teaching you. It is the day that is your shepherd teaching you every day when you don't know anything. Maybe you were born, you wanted to become a teacher. You don't know how to become a teacher. You are sheep. And it is the day as you live the day is the shepherd that is helping you to become that teacher. In that particular philosophy, in that particular context, you are a sheep. You are following the day. You don't know where you are going. But then the day is there taking you to where you are going. So the concept of Jesus being the shepherd while Christians are the sheep, that is where they cooked the concept from. The concept started with Heru, the hours of the day, the 24 hours of the day. As you live through them authentically, you are a sheep. And those 24 hours a day, they are leading you towards milele, towards your destination. Is somebody getting the concept? Is somebody getting the concept of becoming sheep? When somebody calls you sheep, when you hear sheep talking in the background, just know it is spiritual indication of you need to follow without question. That is what sheep is. And sometimes it's good to be sheep, especially when it comes to your authenticity. You listening to your authenticity, you need to be sheep. You don't question your authenticity cravings. You don't question what your authenticity tells you to do during those hours of the day. That is where the concept of sheep comes from. And that is where the concept of master and slave comes from. Because when you come to your authenticity, you need to be a slave to your authenticity. It is all internal things. You don't need to be a slave to anybody outside of you. You don't need to be sheep to anybody outside of you. But to yourself, to your own authenticity, you need to be sheep. That's how you, even go utatoboa jamani. Usipokuwa sheep to your own authenticity, hautatoboa. If you all the time you're questioning your authenticity tells you to move like this, you're questioning. Your authenticity tells you to move like this, you're questioning. You will not get anywhere. But if your authenticity is telling you every hour of the day, do this, do like this, do like this, and you're following, then you are a sheep and Heru is the shepherd. So from today when you hear sheep and shepherd, I want you to know what it is talking about. Now, in ancient mythologies, unleavened bread was used in the wilderness and among the sheep, because unleavened bread symbolized the word of God, the creator in its purest, untamed, and uncontaminated form. The word of God in its purest, untamed, and uncontaminated form. Each and every time you are here on TikTok, and this is the reason why they hate social media. Social media has a lot of unleavened bread. When you're listening to a tarot reader, that's unleavened bread. That's message straight from source, without contamination, without a drive, without a hidden agenda. And that is the concept of unleavened bread. Anytime you come across information that has no hidden agenda, they're not telling you this information to make you foolish so that they can take your land. This information is just present in the collective consciousness, and it is finding you, and it is solving the questions that you are asking. That is the unleavened bread. In ancient mythologies, unleavened bread was used in the wilderness and among spiritual sheep, because unleavened bread symbolized the word of the Creator in its purest, untamed, and uncontaminated form. In ancient mythologies, it was known that unleavened bread promotes Eucharistia, good mixture, which was a state of ease. Unleavened bread was symbolic of good news straight from heavens, shared by seers, prophets, oracle readers, tarot readers, and spiritual evangelists, inspired directly by the Creator to bring good news to the people. Unleavened bread. Guys, are you getting the concept of unleavened bread? Zero microbes, zero fermentation. It is fresh. The oracle reader gets it immediately and puts it into the collective consciousness. the seers, the prophets, they get it immediately, they put it. Without contamination, without them sitting to discuss, to drive a particular agenda. That is what unleavened bread is. That is what chapati is. And some Africans have stuck to chapati up to today. Chapati. Unleavened bread was used to symbolize direct messages, direct downloads from heavens that had no human interference, had no human influence, and were to be delivered directly to the people as such. On the other hand, the Catholics, in their takeover of the world, spiritually ditched the unleavened bread, which is pure gospel, for humanly choreographed gospel of the leavened bread. When you are in Catholic in the village, the same gospel that is in Italy is the same gospel that is in France, and it is the same gospel that is in Germany, and it is the same gospel that is in China, in Kenya. All of them, they are listening to the same thing. And that is the leavened bread, carefully orchestrated by human beings to drive a particular agenda. Yeah, please, your relationship with chapati, don't underestimate. And I'll tell you, Africans, I'll tell you, don't leave your staple foods. There's a reason why your ancestors passed you the foods they passed you. Even if you are embracing other foods, don't leave your staple food. There's a reason why Africans, we must cook with onion and tomato. There's a reason for kachumbari. You might think that these are things that don't leave your staple food. Luo domena, don't leave your staple food. Chapati, that is unleavened bread. So now, on the other hand, the Catholics, in their takeover of the world, spiritually ditch the unleavened bread, pure gospel, for humanly choreographed gospel of the leavened bread. Just like leavened bread requires microbes in its processing, so is the Catholic Eucharist, made up of gospel not directly from heaven, but directly from the Pope, to control, to make you docile, to make you look the other direction when you should be looking this other direction. And you know the beauty of original is you can never, however much you try to turn the original, when people wake up, they still find the original the way it is. The writings, they stay on the walls. When the veil is removed, the writing, they stay on the walls. Yes, manipulation of the word. So you see the difference, unleavened and leavened. Every time you hear unleavened bread, know that it is a word that is not manipulated. When somebody who is spiritual, God works with everybody. The same way God inspired people to write the Bible, God is still inspiring people to help up to today. And the gospel that the Generation X was listening to is not the same gospel that the Generation Z should be listening to. Each and every generation have their own gospel. And that is the root of the unleavened bread. Unleavened bread delivers gospel that is necessary for that particular timeline. While leavened bread, it is the same gospel for all age groups, the same gospel for all countries, the same gospel for everybody. Are you comprehending the difference now? Yeah, comprehend the difference so that you know. And go to Catholic today. I've been in Catholic. And I know my ancestors put me in Catholic so that I can see everything. I can see everything. So that by the time I was waking up from the indoctrination, then it was easy. Because imagine if I was talking about these things and I have never been to Catholic, I don't know anything about Catholic. Then I couldn't know if I was telling a lie or not. But I was there. For years, I recited the rosary. For years, I woke up early to go and follow the entire process of the Catholic Church. And now when I read about it, when I see the truth, I see it for what it truly is. If you are a Catholic here, tell me if I'm lying. The same gospel that is in Nakuru is the one that is in Nairobi. It is the one that is Eldoret, it is the one that is in France, it is the one that is everywhere. Every day they listen to the same thing from everywhere. And the living bread. And that in gospel, it comes from the Pope direct. In fact, they've even added their own to the Bible. Scripted exactly. Now the Catholic altars, on the other hand, the Catholic, in their takeover of the world spirituality, ditched the unleavened bread for the humanly choreographed gospel of the leavened bread. Just like the leavened bread requires microbes in its processing, is the same way Catholics' Eucharist is made up of gospel not directly from the heavens, but directly from the Pope. The leavened Eucharist of the Catholic Church is not fresh. It is a rotten gospel that was used and has been used since the time of the Greeks. And that is the same gospel that is being used to date. Just like the leavened bread, the Catholic gospel is unfresh, repetitive, old, and full of microscopic pathogens. The Catholic altars are built to work against the unleavened bread that symbolize contextual gospel that keeps changing with seasons and is fresh with every generation having their own gospel. Catholic gospel stays the same. The Catholic altar built off of leavened bread philosophy works towards, this is the reason why they do the leavened bread. They work towards ensuring you are not breaking any generational cycles. They make sure you are asleep all the time. They ensure you stay the same and never expand. Their gospel is there to ensure you are always in constant state of dysgracia. You are always degrading. You are always infested by disease. You are always in a state of unease and resistant and fearful. The Catholic gospel ensures inauthenticity and reduction of the size of your head. And guys, when I tell you the Catholic gospel ensures the reduction in the size of your head, in the size of your authenticity, even the way they create the rosary. The rosary is made for small heads. And most people who are so much hell-bent into a Catholic, go look, go confirm. Most people who recite the Catholic rosary all the time, they have very small, like their heads is like this big. Their head is as reduced almost to the size of sheep. A small head that you can even touch and squash like this. Go look. You know, sometimes when I say like this, you think I'm lying. Go look, go pay attention and go observe. The people whose heads are so much into Catholicism, they have very small heads. And the people who create the rosary, they create the rosary to make sure that only small heads can fit that rosary. They make sure that even before you wear the rosary, you are manifesting to have a small head. Very tiny heads, they reduce the shape of your skull so that your skull becomes very small, symbolic of reduction of authenticity. So it ensures inauthenticity and reduction in the size of your head. They keep track of the reduction in authenticity by intentionally always reducing the size of the rosary to only fit the small heads. Now Catholics breed energy vampires who are always advising you towards chaos and separation from your own authenticity. They are energy vampires. The people who are hell-bent in Catholic, they will never advise you of a good thing. Personally, I had a cousin who was very hell-bent in Catholicism. Every time we would meet, she would always talk shit about my brother. Every time she meets about my brother, she would always talk shit to my brother about me. Always wanting to antagonize us. And this is somebody who went to school up to university level. Always wanting to antagonize. Always giving you advice to antagonize you. And never trust them when they are with you. There are these people who, when they are with you, they are talking shit about somebody else. When they are with that person, they are talking shit to them about you. Never trust somebody who is bowing to the Catholic altar. Zero authenticity. Zero authenticity. and they have zero loyalty to themselves, to nobody. They are loyal to nobody. Energy vampires, loyal to nobody, not even themselves. And guys, before there's something telling me to tell you this. Maybe there's somebody who needs to hear this. So listen, 1 minute. If you have this type of rosary in your house, if you have this type of rosary in your house as a Catholic, I want you to go open here. Go open this place. Just go open this place and see the type of witchcraft that is hidden in this place. Go open this place and see what you find. You're going to find witchcraft hidden in this particular place, so that every time you're praying, the prayers don't come to you, they are being channeled somewhere else. Mine, I removed it. But you, go open this place. Just open it. Just be curious. If you're not curious, pia ni shauri yako. Hiyo ni shida yako. But if you can be curious, just be curious and go open this particular place that I've shown you, and then see what is inside. I will not show you what is inside. And when you find what is inside, destroy. When you open this, if you have this rosary, open this place, and when you find what is here, destroy it in the name of Heru. Destroy it with so much spirituality. Burn it, so that you get that particular energy out of your life. Because these rosaries, they sell you, you don't know what they're putting inside of them. Some of you have no idea. Now, up to that particular point, are we together? Trust and obey, for there's no other. Yes, are we together up to that particular point? I hope you're comprehending. First of all, we've learned about the reason why Orthodox separated from Catholic. The Orthodox, they wanted to keep the truth, even if they stole it. Remember, Orthodox was also military. Orthodox was also Catholic. They also obtained themselves from military destruction of Africa. But after they militarily destroyed Africa, some of them started feeling guilty. Some of them started using their heads that this direction that we are going is not the direction. And since then, they've been trying to awaken the world. They've been trying to tell black people, Jesus, even Russians, they've kept the true history of where they got their spirituality from up to today. And that is the reason why Europe and Russia don't get along. And each and every time, last year was not the first time that Putin was saying that Jesus is black, or showing historical figures of black spiritualists. He's been doing it since the beginning of time. It's just that there are times when he was doing it and everybody was asleep. Nobody was listening. Some people think that he started doing it last year. No. The reason why you think he started doing it last year is because last year is when a lot of people are opening their eyes. Black people are now wondering, hey, where are we? The Bible is not talking about us. Nobody's talking about us. The movies don't talk about us. Who is talking about us? Black people are starting to question. And only when you open yourself up to the truth is when the truth finds you. The truth has its own spirit. But always remember that even the Orthodox Church started as a military gang. They only separated because of Kizani. Enemies. They became enemies because they were fighting against God. Anybody that fights against God, you're bound to be enemies. You'll never go anywhere. Even right now in your life, if you're fighting, there's a chosen one amongst you. And you keep teaming up against them. When they leave, you will never be friends again. You will always separate. So they teamed up to take over Africa, and then after that they also separated. And that separation is up to today. It's when the Russians, they want us to go back. Russians now are telling us, please go back to your religion now. Maybe there will be order now. Please know who you are, at least we will find order now. Because when you know who you are, then the world automatically falls into order. The world will never be orderly until the black man knows who they are. The world will never know peace until the black man knows who they are. It all started in Africa, and it will all end in Africa. everything started in Africa, including spirituality, and it will all end in Africa. Because without Africa, there's no way. You keep spinning in the void until they are tired of spinning in the void. Now, what is spiritual protection? As it was always in the beginning, so will it be in the end. So will it be in the end. What is spiritual protection? Spiritual protection is your ability to not have receptors for energies that are out to work against your essence. Spiritual protection is your ability to not have receptors for energies that are out to work against your essence. So now let's talk about receptors. A lot of you, when you visit a new office, you always have a reception. When you visit a place that is serious, there's always a reception. And it is this receptionist that determine whether you enter or you do not enter.
Right.
So now diseases, microbiologically speaking or biologically speaking, diseases, they do not enter where they do not have reception. There's something called lock and key in biology to tell you that a disease will only enter a body if it finds reception. Without reception, a disease knows. Diseases are very disciplined. If you don't have a reception for them, they know they are not supposed to be there and they will not disturb you. So that is when you are called immune. When you don't have a reception for a particular disease, for example, there are people who don't have reception for HIV. Then they are called immune to HIV. So if you don't have a reception for a particular disease, it will pass you like it did not see. That is the same concept that applies to spirituality. So I'll read this again. Spiritual protection is your ability to not have reception for energies that are out to work against your essence. Anytime an energy invades you, know you had reception. Anytime a disease gets into your body, know you had reception. Anytime a narcissist gets into your life, know you had reception. Anytime a demonic entity comes in to violate you, know you had reception. Because the demonic realm follows rules more than any other realm. The demonic realm are the most disciplined realm more than any other realm. They work for Satan. They work for restriction. And before they invade, there must be reception. If there is no reception, they will not. Because one thing I'll tell you, you cannot run away from disease. Diseases are always around. And this is why I love the fact that I studied microbiology. Even here where I'm seated, you might find there's tuberculosis bacteria here. You might find there's Vibrio cholerae here. You might find there is all manner of pathogens are here with me. But why are they not entering me? Because I have no reception. So guess what? Demonic entities are always everywhere. You cannot run away. You cannot hide. You cannot go to live in a place where they are not. They are everywhere. But now the question is, do you have reception for them or do you not? Spiritual protection is your ability to lock all your doors so zero energy, unwanted energies cannot enter. The key points of foreign energies the key entry points of foreign energies into your body. I've already talked to you about reception. So now listen. How do these diseases enter into your body? You have doors. You have doors. The lovely jealousy is only demonic if, depending on how you channel it. Jealousy is angelic when you channel it correctly. Now, what is jealousy? Jealousy is always there to show you where you are going. When you look at me and you are jealous of me, it is showing you, I am here showing you that, by the way, where Swirnyarkano is, there's a version of you that is there. Because remember, by the way, you don't desire things that your future self doesn't have. If your future self doesn't have it, you have no business. You will not even look that direction. You only desire things that a version of you already has. And so, jealousy is usually yourself showing you that, by the way, there's a version of you that has that. So how are you going to react? Are you going to want to jeopardize me so that you take my space? Or you're going to be like, oh, I see the missing. In fact, some people, they get happy when they're jealous. Because look at the things you get jealous of. The caliber of things you get jealous of are showing you the type of future you're supposed to be having. Some people, they get jealous of the caliber of like Kanye West. There are no good examples, guys, in our timeline, so just let me use any example. Some people, they get jealous of Candace Owens. Some people, they get jealous of Trump, Donald Trump. It is showing you the caliber of place that you're going. So jealousy is a good thing when you know the message. It only becomes a bad thing when you want to now destroy that thing so that it doesn't exist. Meaning you want to destroy the version of yourself that is on that particular vibration so that it doesn't exist, so that it doesn't keep reminding you that, by the way, there's a version of you here. By the way, there's a version of you here. There are some people who, when you show them, there's a version of you here, there's a version of you here, they want to kill it. Stop reminding me. Stop reminding me I don't want to go there. Stop reminding me I don't want to go there. So how you use your jealousy is the most important thing. But jealousy is a thing. You cannot run away from it. You only need to know the message that it is portraying. The same as shame. Shame is also not a bad thing. Shame is always there to show you that, by the way, now you are about to betray certain parts of yourself. Anytime you feel shame, know that that is the ancestral realm telling you you are about to betray certain parts of yourself. You are about to betray certain. It's a ring. It's a bell ringing. Shame is a bell ringing telling you there's a part of yourself you're about to betray. There's a part of yourself you're about to betray. So how do you use this particular warning? All these emotions are warnings. Anytime you feel shame, the direction you're supposed to be moving is keep on. Stay. Don't shrink. And give up. Anytime you feel shame. Anytime you feel shame, use it as a fuel. From your hand, anytime you feel shame, channel that, oh, the ancestors are telling me there's a part of me I'm about to destroy. I'm about to betray, I'm about to leave. I'm about to betray. And when you betray that part of you, it becomes your enemy. So if you feel shame, then move in stubbornness so that that part of you becomes your friend. When it becomes your friend, now you are capable of even giving a middle finger to everybody that was making you feel bad about it. Me, I only want Aditi to subscribe. So guys, are we together up to that particular point? That's shame. I just wanted to give it as an example, like jealousy. All these emotions, anger. Anger is an emotion to tell you there's a boundary being crossed. There's a boundary of yours that is being crossed. All these emotions, there is no negative or positive emotions. All emotions are bells that are ringing. And every time you feel an emotion, just pause. Normalize pausing whenever you are triggered. Normalize pausing whenever an emotion knocks. Because it is these emotions, they are energies in motion. And they are the ones that will either elevate or make you decelerate. These particular emotions, they are energy in motion. So you are supposed to use them for your own good. And I'm going to continue. Let me not stray too much away from the topic. Now, spiritual protection is the ability to have receptors or not. Your ability to not have receptors for negative energies. Some people, they don't have receptor for anything. That is also not good. Spiritual protection is only for you to not have receptors for negative energies. Some people, they in their office, there's no reception at all. Nothing can enter sickle cell anemia. When you are that type of a person, you are calling sickle cell like this. You must always have reception for good energy and no reception for bad energy. So the key entry points of foreign energies into your body and life are this. We have the portals of your head. The portals in your head. When you look at my head right now, I have a portal here. My eyes are portal. My nose is a portal. My mouth is a portal. My ears are a portal. And all these portals are found in what? In your authenticity. Remember, your head represents your authenticity. So it is through your authenticity that you ingest. Guys, just listen and listen to the process of energy. If you truly want to protect yourself, don't think that you'll come to me and I'll tell you, hey, go take a goat, slaughter, do this, and then you'll be okay. No. Let's learn the basics of how energies enter, and then you can protect yourself from even an energy entering, so that you don't even need to do a ritual to now deal with the repercussions of you allowing an energy to enter. So there are key entry points of foreign energies into your body and into your life. And number one is your authenticity. Your authenticity is a receptionist. It is your authenticity that ingests through your mouth, through your eyes, through your ears, through your, I've said them all these openings that are in your authenticity. Your authenticity has the most openings. Is there a part of your body that has the most openings than your head? Yes, your nose. Is there a part of your body that has more openings than your head? There's no. So always know that your authenticity. And remember your relationship with your authenticity. You need to be a sheep when it comes to your authenticity. You need to be a slave when it comes to your authenticity. Because it is through your authenticity that a lot of things enter. So now the portals of your head, you ingest. Through your authenticity, you ingest. And then there's the portals of your nyash. Your pelvic area also has portals over there. Your pelvic area also has what? Portals over there. And these portals, the portals of your authenticity are supposed to ingest, while the portal of your nyash is supposed to expel. Seen energy, energy that can be seen, energy that can be heard. And then we have portals for unseen energy, energy that you cannot see. And the portals for energy that you cannot see are your hands, which is your thoughts. What you touch, what you touch. You always see Ibrahim Traore is never greeting people. He's always doing Gotham, and most of the time he's wearing gloves, not greeting people with his hands. Your hands are a portal for unseen energy. Every time don't be a shaker. You shake everybody. You shake everybody's hands. Because remember, every time you're shaking my hand, you're giving me access to your thoughts. Every time you're shaking my hand, you're giving me access to your thoughts. And if I'm a spiritual practitioner who is dangerous to you, I sulu. Now we have the unseen portal. The second unseen portal is your stomach. Can you see the portal in your stomach? Your navel, where the umbilical cord was joined. That's also a portal. And then another unseen portal is your feet. Your self-knowledge. How well do you know yourself? How well you know yourself is going to dictate the type of energies that are going to access you. If you don't know yourself, unseen energies are going to get you. So let's rewind. The key entry points of energies into your body are what? We have the seen, which is your head, your authenticity, and then your nyash, which is your self-balance, your ability to balance yourself. Your authenticity ingests, your nyash expels. We are going to get deep into it. If you don't get it right now, you'll get it. And then the unseen. Remember, there is seen energy and the unseen energy. Unseen energy is there, your hands, which give access to your thoughts, your stomach, which give access to what you're connected to, and then your self-knowledge, which tells somebody if you are ignorant of who you are or not. If you are ignorant of who you are, you can be misused. Some people are stars. They are a star, but they don't know they are a star. And then somebody else sees them as a star. And now, because they don't know they are a star, they are misused. You end up building an entire company for someone. You think it is them that is building the company, but it is your essence that they are using to build that company, because you don't know that you are a star. So once you work on ensuring that the seen energy entry points are locked, then the unseen energy entry points will automatically lock themselves. So always make sure your authenticity and your balance, your authenticity and your self-balance, as long as you make sure those are then you've locked all the doors. Now nothing can enter. Even if you don't know yourself, maybe you are a star. When you are a star, you don't know yourself, but you are authentic. Nobody will misuse you. Your ancestors, it is through your authenticity that your ancestors are there. It is through your authenticity that your ancestors are in touch with you. So even sometimes, guys, a lot of people, you always hear some people say, oh, I don't know how I escaped that one. Your authenticity. Oh, I did not get into the car that got an accident. Your authenticity. So sometimes you might not know yourself, but keep the authenticity clean. Because the authenticity is telepathic communication to your ancestors. As long as you're being authentic, you are telepathically communicating to your ancestors, and they got you. They got you. Like the Americans would say, they got you. As long as you're authentic, your ancestors will always have you. Even if you are ignorant to who you are. Even if you're a star and you don't know you are a star, stay authentic and everything is solved. So now the scene energy entry points. The primary energy entry points are located at your Sobek, Libra energy, and Aries, your asset energy. I'm saying Libra and Aries so that the moderners can comprehend. But the ancients, you know, we are talking about Sobek and asset, which is your self-balance and your authenticity. So the primary energy entry points are located at Libra, Sobek, self-balance, and Aries, asset, self-authenticity, pointing to an individual's self-balance and self-authenticity respectively. Now Esperanza has already said, it is the combination of these two words that create libraries. Libra and Aries create libraries that are the first support protection system. Listen, Libra and Aries are the first protection system of a society. Any society that doesn't have Libra and Aries, you're there. And that's why the black community has been done for a long time. The first place that they destroyed through iconoclasm was the libraries of Africa. Making sure that all the libraries are dead, all the libraries are gone. Any society that does not have libraries is not protected. Now it is the combination of these two words that create libraries that are the first protection system of a society. The absence of libraries absents protection. As long as there is no library, there is no protection. So now Sobek, which is Libra, which is self-balance, is achieved by the laws of Ma'at. Just stay with me if you don't know these words that I'm speaking about. I'm going to translate them. Ma'at is ovaries of a woman. So Sobek, which is self-balance, which is Libra energy, is achieved by the laws of Ma'at, truth and justice, located in the self-analysis of a woman, located in the stomach of a woman. Asset, which is authenticity, which is Aries energy, is achieved by the slave master analogy, or the sheep and shepherd analogy. So I've already told you the sheep and shepherd analogy. If you want to have a beautiful authenticity, be a sheep to your authenticity. Honor, being so much of a sheep, especially people who are Catholics, they don't like people who are authentic. My dear, even if your friend tells you, let's go to the club, and you go to the club, you reach the club, and your authenticity just tells you, we are not okay, leave. Follow your authenticity like a sheep follows the shepherd. Listen to your authenticity like a slave would listen to the master. Even if there's no explanation, you just fail. Hey, I'm not comfortable. Leave immediately. Because 2 minutes later, there will be a fire breakout there. 2 minutes later, people will start fighting there, and you might be a collateral damage. Leave. Listen to your authenticity without explanation. And it's the same way. When your authenticity tells you, help this one, help them without question. If your authenticity tells you, go here, go without question. If your authenticity tells you, we need to eat this, eat it without question. The relationship, Adidi, everybody, do you know you are tampering with my class? What kind of a husband are you? Be my TikTok husband, but be a husband. Don't be a husband who your wife is teaching and you are like, oh my God, can you support? Can you support your wife? Adidi. You know, when I was young, I used to have a best friend called Adidi. That's why I have a soft spot for you. But please don't be a nuisance. You see, I'm serious in this class now. I'm serious in this class, Adidi. Give me time. I will come to the bedroom once I'm done. So guys, are you hearing what I'm saying? The relationship between you and your authenticity is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to give into your authenticity, especially if you come from a bloodline where they did not for a long time. But let me tell you, it is heaven. When you give into your authenticity, it is heaven. It is your authenticity that is always reminding you, hey, by the way, you've forgotten a key. So some people, when they leave the house, they've forgotten something. They feel like, I've forgotten something. I've forgotten. Your authenticity is always keeping up with everything that you need to do.
Oh.
Your authenticity is always 100% right, like a master.
That's cute, baby.
So be the slave, be a good slave. The relationship between authenticity and your temporary consciousness is like that of a master and a slave, but it is not a bad one. The concept of master and slave, when you put it with authenticity and your temporary consciousness, then you realize there can be love between a boss and an employee. There can be love between somebody who is, a servant and their master.
You just have to drive it thick.
So now, so
my favorite part's the full lips.
For you to balance yourself properly, that energy is in your stomach. This is the reason why, guys,
my pages
women
are
always
crinkly.
obsessed with their stomach being small
The
and their
underneath
nyash being
pages.
big.
Yeah, there we go.
The energy
Thank
that
you.
comes from your stomach is stored in your nyash. So if you're somebody who you analyze yourself properly, your nyash cushions you. You analyze yourself properly, all that energy goes to your nyash to cushion you, to cushion your manifestation. And that is the reason why the nyash is there to ensure that a child is coming in freely or not. If your nyash is small, a child is going to struggle to come. To mean spiritually that if your nyash is small, then the manifestation you are manifesting are going to struggle to come. And that nyash energy, it comes from your stomach. So back as a direct relationship with Maat. And this is why men, they don't have nyash, because they don't have Maat. Women have Maat so that they can have nyash that help to caution the manifestation, so that the child learns to pissle. The child just pissle out. You don't even feel so much when you're delivering. And remember, how you deliver your baby is how you deliver your manifestation. An example is this. People who do not have confidence cannot even stand in front of a crowd to speak. Even the way I'm speaking to you right now, there are people that cannot do it. Why? Because nyash na small now. The nyash na small. The nyash na small cannot do any manifestation. Big nyash will sit. Fear nobody. People will observe it. The writings are always on the wall. Observe women with big nyash. They fear nobody, yo. They don't fear anyone. When they want their manifestation to come, the manifestation is coming. Nobody's talking shit about it. The ones with small nyash are always looking, I'm scared. I'm scared. And it's not that inawaonea, ni ukweli jamani. Hiyo ndo ukweli yenye iko. Ni Vatican iliwadanganya ati matakondogo ni mzuri. Vatican inawadanganya matakondogo ni mzuri juu they like pedophiles. They are pedophiles. They like little girls who have not ripened. They don't like when women ripe. Because they know that a woman who has nyash, when you are a masculine, you must bow to my fucking feet. But white men with small families, they like women without nyash, who can, anything goes. anything. They know it's a spiritual thing. When you're kukasirika pia I'm sorry. Kama unakasirika, I'm sorry. But lazima niseme, hatuwezi kanyagilia maneno yenye inasaidia watu. Hatuwezi kanyagilia ukweli hata kama inauma. I'm sorry. So now, I apologize in advance usiniweke chuki juu nimesema hivyo. I'm just teaching biology. Even when a girl is growing up, when they reach their teenage years, naturally the nyash is supposed to swell. Najua naguza mlima lakini muniusamee. Munisamee tu, we preach the true gospel. When even biology says it, when a child reaches the age where they are ready to conceive, then the first thing you will see is the hips broaden. Hips broaden. Why hips broaden? The hips are not just broaden because the universe wants you to look beautiful. No. The hips broaden because they are preparing for manifestations to start being launched. Hips broadening helps manifestation to launch easily. And when you reach milele without nyash, you will look for a BBL. Angalia watu wenye wanafika milele bila nyash wanatafuta BBL kwa surgeon. Because it is the spiritual. It is a spiritual standard for a woman who wants to have easy manifestation. It is a spiritual standard for a woman who wants to have who wants to have easy manifestation. And women who have given birth, tell them. Women who have ever had children, tell people the truth. When your nyash is a bit big, and it gives more room for the vagina to expand, for the child to come out easily. When the nyash is small, it gives it difficult for the child to come. And a lot of African women have nyash. When I talk about nyash is nyash. Look at a European woman. I'm sorry. We have to say the truth. Look at a European woman, and then look at their nyash. It is not there. When you look at a black woman, even if they're skinny as fuck, you'll always see some there. You'll always see some apple is swelling at the back. When you look at a European woman, there's nothing swelling at the back, and not all of them, but most. I'm sorry in advance. Nothing is swelling at the back. It is flat like this. That is not spiritual. I'm sorry, but that is not spiritual, man. It is not. And that is why most of them cannot give birth through the normal way. There's no room for the nyash to expand. And most of them are scared. They cannot even speak in public. No room for the nyash. Haya, when you kasirika ni shida yenu. Now, the first equinox, as I'm speaking about Aset and Sobek. The first equinox, Aset marks the first equinox shift, while Sobek marks the second equinox shift. So your authenticity marks the first equinox, equalizer. And then your Sobek energy marks the second equinox. The first equinox is always happening in the beginning, in March. Some people are always asking me, why are you using European zodiac? There's nothing like European zodiac sign. They took the African, after changing the maps upside down, now they took what Africans were using and went to start using it as if it is their own. And they left Africa with nothing to use. So now, during March is when we have the first equinox, the planting season. And that is marked by authenticity. If you think that it is a European zodiac sign, you can leave the European zodiac sign and start observing it on your own. Start observing it on your own. When do we have the planting season that is similar to authenticity? And also you can observe it on your own. When does your nyash increase? Out of the 12 months of the year, there is a time when your nyash is a little bit bigger. Track when is it? And then you will know. Now, Aset marks the first equinox shift, while Sobek marks the second equinox shift. The first equinox of Aset ingests life. It's always ingesting life. That is where we are headed. Right now the year is going to begin. We are going to start by authenticity. You're going to ingest a lot of life. Now, while the second equinox, Sobek, expel waste that does not belong to you. So now, during the first equinox, we ingest life. like the way you ingest food in your mouth. And then during the September equinox, we expel energy that no longer serves you, you expel it so that you can survive October. Guys, if you don't expel the energy that no longer serves you in September, you will not survive October. And we are going to be with you throughout this month so that we see our own calendar. And we see when these things are happening. The writings, they remain on the walls, exactly mama.com. The writings, they always stay on the walls. When you are aware, you see it for what it truly is. When you are not aware, you start guessing. Now, the results of the marriage between Aset, which is your Aries, which is your authenticity, and the balance, which is your Sobek, which is the Libra, is stored in Seshat, the African god of history and documentation and writing. So always remember the result. Aset is the authenticity. Authenticity has result, guys. For example, you're going to a club with your friend, and then you get into the club immediately. And 2 minutes later, you're like, hey, I don't feel like being here, you leave. And then after you leave, that place is on fire or is raided and people are shot dead. Seshat is supposed to record that. That is a result of your authenticity. Always record the results of your authenticity. Always keep a library of the results of your authenticity, because in future, these things repeat themselves. So, the result of the marriage between Aset and Sobek, Aries and Libra, is stored in Seshat, the African god of history and documentation and writing. Catholics destroyed Seshat in Africa. Now, the spiritual protection involves the proper sync between Aset, your authenticity, portals, and Sobek, your expulsion portal. So see, Aset is a portal that injects, Sobek is a portal that expels. Aset is a portal that injects, Sobek is a portal that expels. When you ingest, that's an equinox. When you expel, that's an equinox. So let's see what exactly happens. Intake portals of Aset include the eye, which intakes light. What you see can shift you. Your nose, which intakes air. What you smell can shift you. Your mouth, which intakes earth and water. What you speak can shift you. And what you ingest can shift you. And what you drink can shift you. And then your ear, which intakes sound. Sound is support. Sound is support. Sound is Osiris. I'm always telling you, when you're seated and you hear ibis in the background, support. When you're seated and you hear a dog barking in the background, support. When you're seated and you hear a sheep in the background, support. All sounds are support system. So now, everything you hear, you must always ensure that it is supportive of you, because everything you listen to and everything you hear can shift you. Now, once energies have been taken from authenticity, it is your authenticity that allows the energies to get in or not. Once energies are taken from your authenticity, it is your authenticity that allows energies to be taken or not. Once energies are taken from your authenticity, they make their way into your digestive system. Now we are entering into biology. We are now entering into biology. If you are not a fan of biology, you're going to hate this. Once energies are ingested in your authenticity, remember, I'm talking about food. And I'm talking about what you see. I'm talking about what you hear. I'm talking about what you interact with, what you smell. Every energy that accesses your authenticity makes their way to your digestive system, which is Ra, Virgo. So any energy ingested from your Aries makes its way to Virgo. Any energy ingested into Aset makes its way to Ra. For what? To be analyzed. The only function of Ra is to analyze. Ra is the first eye, to see. Anyway, let me continue before I mix it up. Inside men, the Ra or Virgo territory is modern. It is present. It functions in the present tense only, no past, no future. So people who have men,
I love doodling.
Sound is support.
Always love doodling.
Inside men,
You should add more.
the
Just
Ra
add more
or
to
Virgo
it.
energy or Virgo territory is modern. It is only present. Men are not infinite beings. Men are temporary beings that function in the now. Functioning by the current state of affairs only, because men do not have ovaries. But now women are a little bit different.
This was a fat pen. It'll add a little dimension.
Territory has mass.
It's still blue, but I mean,
Which
like,
is
it's
the
kind of
ovaries.
chubby.
Making it infinite so much that energies come from authenticity. When energies come from authenticity into the digestive system of a woman, this energy does not only meet the digestive system of a woman, it meets the woman's ovary as well. This energy meets both the past and the present, plus the future generations or future spirits of the woman that help in the judgment process. If somebody's not getting it, let's say it in layman's language. I'm ready to demonstrate. So now when you eat food, when you ingest energy, let's start it with physically. When you eat food, it makes its way to your stomach. Inside the stomach of a man, there is no ovaries. And so therefore, when food hits the stomach of a man, it is only ingested, it is only subjected to judgment by what that man knows from the time they were born up to now. It is very modern, present. There is no future that is directing, that is influencing that digestion, and there is no past that is influencing that digestion. But then a woman, when the energy, yes, memory only, Shiku Kibera, thank you very much. When food or energy gets into the stomach of a man, the self-analysis of a man, it only meets the man's memory only. That is what is going to have influence on that food. But a woman is different. When food hits the stomach of a woman, it meets the past generations of that woman and the future generations of that woman. Why? Because of Ma'at is present in a woman. Ovaries are present in a woman. So now all your ancestors from the past are helping you digest that food. All your ancestors from the future are helping you digest that food. Now, as people who are listening to me, between these two people, who should be trusted with making decisions? If energy is getting into the stomach of someone, and the only analyzers is the present, only what they've seen since they were born up to that point where they are. And then another one, when energy gets there, all their past ancestors, all the future ancestors are present to analyze. Now, these are the reasons why they don't want women in leadership positions. Women are infinite because of Ma'at. Respect Ma'at. Ma'at contains your ancestors from the past, which are in your left, and then your ancestors from the future, which are in your right ovary. Remember, we have left ovaries and right ovaries. So even as a woman, when you give birth, sometimes if we had midwives that are functional, we live in a patriarchal society, things are not functional. If we had midwives that are functional, they would be telling you, a woman, that by the way this child came from your left ovary, you know they come from the ancestral realm in the past. Oh, by the way this child comes from your right ovary, you know they come from the future. These are information that they need to be telling us. But for now, we are living in a society where you get the bare minimum, and that's okay. But as a woman, you must always know, the moment food lands in your stomach, it is being analyzed by your ancestors from the past, your ancestors from the future, plus you. And then for a man, it is just them. For a man, when a food enters into your stomach, it's just you. And this is the reason why we have ancient, oh, I don't know whether I will find that image right now. But do you guys remember that image that I was showing you? A woman always putting her left hand on the man's stomach to help him analyze himself. Because women are privileged when it comes to analysis. A man who is not getting help when it comes to his analysis, the stomach will start to swell. He will start looking like he's pregnant. Because he's not getting help with this analysis. Yes, please, people remember. So recall that particular image that I was telling you. Yes. Hey, Yamadesu, you are, mwah. May you be blessed. May you be favored, Yamadesu. So look at that image that Yamadesu has posted. The woman is touching the stomach of the man to help the man analyze himself, because women have infinite analysis. So as a woman, when you have a man, know that they are depending on you when it comes to analysis. You should even be going with your man to sign contracts, You should be going with your man to business meetings. You should be accompanying your man in any decision that the man is making. The woman should be there holding his stomach. Because a man's stomach is temporary. A man's stomach does not have access to infinite knowledge. So a woman must always be standing there with a man to help him. If you don't help him, he will make decisions. He will make decisions that will throw your entire family off balance. Now let me continue. So inside women, the Ra or Virgo territory has Ma'at, the ovaries, making it infinite so much that when energies come from a set, from the authenticity, into the digestive system of a woman, this energy meets both the past and the present and the future generations or spirits of the woman that help in the judgment process. You are welcome. You guys are getting what I'm saying. You guys are comprehending what I'm saying. Yeah, we live in a lost society, but we cannot dwell. We cannot just sit and dwell that, oh my God, our society is so broken. Until when? We have to now learn and move and make the necessary changes as we go. The black woman is awake, now everything must fall into place. The black woman is awake, now everything must fall into place. Everything must be done orderly here. People will just not be doing everything anyhow. When the black woman is awake, order! Order! Everything must be orderly. Everything must be respected. Ubuntu must be restored. So now we're going to continue. Inside the Ra or the digestive system, the main question usually asked is this. Listen, every time you ingest food or energy, remember food is energy. So maybe you meet somebody for the first time or somebody subjects you to something. Remember when you are interacting with people, you are ingesting energy. When you're eating, you are ingesting energy. When you're working, you're ingesting energy. When you're in a meeting, you're ingesting energy. So anytime you ingest energy, these are usually the questions that your body will ask. Does this energy mean harm to me and my essence? Or does this energy mean good? That is all that is happening inside Ra. Inside Ra, there's only two questions that are being answered. Is this good for me or is this bad for me? Is this good for me or is this bad for me?
That's
so the
so good.
energies that mean harm are then channeled towards Sobek. Look at that flow of energy. It starts from your authenticity, it goes into your self-analysis. And then from self-analysis, now we're going to ask, is this good for me or is this bad for me?
Cat.
The energies that are
What's up?
that mean harm, the energies that are bad for you are channeled towards Sobek, which is your Libra, which is your Nash area, to be expelled. While those that mean good are distributed to nourish the building blocks. That's the process of digestion. So once you meet, this is the reason why sometimes you can meet somebody and you just talk vizuri, you just talk, and then later on that person calls you and tells you, fuck up, man, we are no longer continuing with the deal. Why? Self-analysis has fallen into place. Remember, when you're eating, digestion occurs later. So after you've eaten your food, it goes into your stomach, and then the analysis begins. Is this good for me? The separation of the wheat from the chaff. Is this good for me? With the good ones distributed to go in blocks. The bad ones pushed into Sobek energy for Nyash, and spiritually for Nyash, and then physically to be expelled outside. Now, the stomach, which is the womb, which is the Ra, which is the Virgo energy, is called the first eye. That is the first vision. That is the first eye, because it is the first one to see energies for what they truly are. Your digestive system is it sees energies for what you truly are. Your analysis is the eyes. The other day I saw some Kenyans putting memes and saying that, oh, when I'm alone, I'm thinking, should I go back to him? Or, oh, did I do wrong there? Or, these questions you must always ask yourself, because that is your eyes
see. You know the one where you're like in...
The navel then connects to the nose.
Yeah, the
That
shoulder
label,
stretch
that
thing,
umbilical
because your
cord
butt cheeks are
that
open.
connected to your mother's placenta is directly connected to your nose above.
Oof,
So
it's
the
not
navel
gonna
then
miss
connects to the
none. It's a
nose,
full
where the
extension
navel
of a poop.
communicates to the nose what is inviting, what is invited, and what is no longer invited. So every time after you analyze, know that that energy comes to your nose. So that next time, if you ingested it today and it was poison,
Try to cover
next time your nose will tell you, Papa,
coughed in
no,
91st. Like,
we are not welcoming this one because of that communication from the
My
navel.
farts don't usually
Now,
come
because
out
the
with a
stomach,
noise.
which
It
is the
says it's
digestive
always a
system,
puff.
is the first eye. It is
But there's usually too
impossible
much
to
noise
see
all around to
clearly
even like.
when the womb is congested. It is impossible for you to see clearly when your stomach is congested with energies of yesterday. Now you become
If they eat a lot of
living
dairy
bread.
and meat and stuff.
Remember the living bread when I was telling you?
never heard
Compromise.
Zillion Maddie
Not
farts.
fresh, rotten. And this will jeopardize your ability to see properly. Now, listen and listen to the solution also. I always criticize and I give solution. It is impossible to see clearly when the womb is congested. When the stomach is congested, as new energies access the digestive system, there is formation of living gospel that is jeopardized by the past energies that you did not declutter, which is contamination of the new. It is contamination to the new energy by the old energy, throwing off the self-analysis into an inaccurate direction. Hence, fasting is recommended. When your stomach is congested, new energy, they are coming, they're finding shosho bado ako ndani. New energy, they are coming, they're finding the grandmother is still there, was never released. New energies are coming, they're finding that energy from 5 years ago is still there. Now imagine if energy from 5 years ago is still in your stomach up to today. Just imagine the level of microbial contamination. Every time a new energy lands, contaminated. Every time a new energy lands, contaminated. So it blurs your ability to see clearly. And the solution is always fast. Fasting is recommended. When you leave too many issues unanalyzed, meaning most times you never ask the right questions of, did I do evil? Or was that me accepting evil? Was this good for me? Was that bad for me? If you're somebody who you don't ask those questions, you are in trouble. Some people, somebody treats you as a doormat. You just ignore you. Because self-analysis requires you to see things for what they truly are. And self-analysis will have you see your own face. If you are demonic to someone, your self-analysis will make you see your own demonic face. And some people, they don't want to see that. And there's beauty in seeing, even if you are demonic to someone, normalize seeing it so that you repent. Ask, apologize. You will not die for apologizing. Instead of you looking the other way, that energy will swell your stomach. Every time you avoid asking, did I do evil? Was that me doing evil? Or did I accept evil? People pleasers, they don't ask. They're afraid to ask, did I accept evil? Was that me accepting evil? They're afraid to ask. Because their analysis will tell them, yeah, that was you accepting evil. You are not supposed to be at work on Saturdays. What are you doing? Your contract says you work from Monday to Friday. Your boss is telling you to come to work on Saturday. And because you are a people pleaser to the boss, you are accepting. And you know that this is against your essence. So when you ask yourself, was that me doing evil? Your self-analysis will tell you, yes, baby. But some people, they'd rather not ask that question. And when you don't ask such questions, your stomach will start to swell. The same to men. When they do not analyze themselves, their stomach starts to swell. And right now you see, we live in a generation where men's stomach swelling is very common and normal. A lot of men of our timeline have their stomach, are pregnant. Lack of self-analysis. A lot of men of our timeline are pregnant. You might think that they are pregnant. Lack of self-analysis. They are with women who don't help them analyze. Or they don't allow self-analysis because they are violent. So now, when you leave too many issues unanalyzed, meaning Most times you never ask the right questions of, did I do evil? Did I accept evil here? Was this good for me? Was this bad for me? If you don't ask these questions, the food you eat or the energies you eat just stagnate and accumulate at your ra, or rather bag of space, making your stomach full, big, and interferes with your ability to see clearly from analyzing clearly. Anytime those energies are accumulated there, they're going to be like alcohol. So anytime fresh energy is coming, it's like they're dropping inside alcohol. You can't see clearly through your self-analysis. So you end up even sending, sometimes you end up even sending energies to your cells, to your building blocks that don't need to go to your building block. And sometimes you end up expelling energies through your energies that don't need to be expelled because you can't see, you're blind. Now, ways to spiritually protect yourself. How you digest energy play a big role in your self-protection. This is what is at Mark chapter 16 verse 18. Mark chapter 16 verse 18 says, even if you ingest poison, it will not kill you. When your self-analysis is like that of a snake, how do you tap into the snake's totem? By self-analysis. Snakes are feared because they see everything. That is the first eye. Anytime you are very good at self-analysis, you've tapped into the snake energy. You and snakes, you become friends. And so anything, even if somebody feeds you poison, even if somebody gives you poison and you ingest it, it will not kill you. Why? Because by the time it reaches your you're seeing it clearly and you're expelling it as nonsense, as waste, so that the good energy can go into the parts of your body. So that is what the Mark chapter 16 verse 18 is talking about. Because then you might ingest poison, but because your self-analysis is awake, then none of that poison will make it to your body parts. Instead, it will end up in your nyash. When your self-analysis is proper, nothing will pass from your self-analysis into your body. It will never make you sick. It will be expelled straight to the nyash. And what is an example? An example is, maybe you are a woman who you are very intelligent and you know it. And then somebody comes and tells you you're the most foolish person ever. That's poison. It is going to get into your stomach and you know very well that it is poison, you're going to expel it as waste. But somebody who doesn't know themselves, whose self-analysis is blind, somebody is going to tell them you are very foolish. And it's going to get into their stomach, they start wondering. And yet this person is very intelligent, but they don't know. Their self-analysis is jeopardized. Then that energy gets into their stomach, they're like, oh my God, could I be? And they don't even analyze it. It ends up in their system, making them now foolish in real life when they were very intelligent. Remember, we are all alchemists. Some people will alchemize you from your true identity into an identity that was never yours if you're not careful. Remember, we are always ingesting. If your self-analysis is not on point, does not favor you, then anybody can attack you through self-analysis. They can just put food in your poison and then it will make it to the rest of your body. Now, how do you protect yourself? How? Ways to spiritually protect yourself. I have a couple of ways here. The first way is normalize washing your asshole with water after wiping, especially in times of quarrels, squabbles, and when you are in dis-ease, because inside your poop is where poison exists. After your digestive system has successfully separated the wheat from the chaff, that chaff goes into your poop. Some people have toxic poop because of what you ingested. Maybe you ingested poison and you successfully expelled it into your poop. Now, when it is staying around the area of your poop, it is still dangerous to your body, remember. So when you wash it off, remember, water is the motion. When you wash it off, water is a cleanser. Then you become very difficult to spiritually antagonize. So So always normalize. I know Christians, I know, people are not used to washing their assholes. But when you're sick, when you know you are in a state of violence and war with somebody, when you're fighting a spiritual battle, wash your asshole. At least do that for yourself. It will help you. It will help you to dodge unnecessary attacks. Now fast when you feel congested. Another way to protect yourself is fast when you feel congested. Fast when you feel confused. When you feel congested and confused in your self-analysis, you don't know whether you did evil or not, fast. And that fast will help you to stop your self-analysis from becoming a leavened bread. Terrible gospel, terrible news to your building blocks. Muslims are very ahead. And that is because Islam is the matriarchal religion. The religion of the moon, the religion of intuition. And because you mentioned Islam, let me just tell you a little bit of how Islam, the reason why they wear hijab. Muslims are nomads. They are naturally nomadic. They are naturally traders. They are naturally movers. They are a proto-Nilotic group, even though most of them are called Kushites. Now these are travelers, and they mostly travel through the desert. So the formation of hijab started from the protection of the hair from the winds of the desert, from the sand of the desert. So they would wear that, and guess what? Winds of the desert and the sand from the desert, they also have a spiritual representation. The representation of winds, when winds are too much. When winds are too much, it's like there is too much spiritual attack. And so wearing hijab is like staying away, keeping your crown chakra away so that nobody can access, no wind can access. So look at the timeline when Muslims become more into hijab, when the world becomes chaotic. When the world winds become chaotic, Muslims, they get more into hijab. And this hijab helps to protect their authenticity. Me personally, I went to school with some Muslim women. You will never know what is going on with them. Their dress code automatically keeps their chai away from everybody else. You can never know what is going on with their 12 houses. You can never know what is going on with their authenticity. You will never know their story. Even when everybody else's story is everywhere. Muslim women, you'll never hear their story. It's only them that know their own story. So whatever they do is also a spiritual protection. So just respect everybody's ways of spiritual protection as you also do your own. But know the origin of hijab is to keep the winds. So anytime you need to keep the winds away from you, anytime you need to hide your crown chakra, wear the hijab. Even if they're saying that, oh, don't wear hijab, wear. Kwani atakupeleka wapi? At the end of the day, everything comes from Africa. Even those hijabs, it was African women who started wearing them. So always just know the reason behind. When you start covering your crown, your head, nobody will know you are gossip. Nobody will know you are tea. Nobody will know what's happening with your authenticity. Nobody will know what's happening with your 12 houses. You will just be living in a secret life. But this secret life, with time you will see them moving away from that particular hijab and all those things that they wear. When the world becomes safe. When the world becomes safe, they will move away from it. But right now, they can never move away from it because the world is still very windy. The world is like a desert that has wind. And that's why you see the Islamic people are all still wearing what they are wearing because it is necessary. But the moment the world becomes a little bit safe to authenticity, becomes a little bit safe to become yourself, to showcase your 12 houses, then they'll gradually move away from it. It is also an astrological thing. Now, another way to spiritually protect yourself, fast when you feel congested, fast when you feel confused. That one I've already said. Another one is maintain your oral hygiene. Keep your oral hygiene neat. When your mouth is rotten, it automatically contaminates the words coming out of your mouth. Even if you did not mean to say something rotten, when your mouth is smelling rotten, that air element in your mouth that is rotten is going to rot all words that you speak, even if you did not mean to say a rotten thing. Now, and it also contaminates every food that gets in. Remember the microbes. Any food that gets in becomes a leavened bread. Any food that gets in becomes contaminated. So always keep your oral hygiene very, very neat. And guys, there's a particular practice if you want to, these are small things though, these are small things, but they go a long way. For example, if you're somebody who you want to cast a spell, or you want to pray for yourself and your mouth stinks, that prayer will not hit the same. That prayer will not hit the same. Remember, air element. If the air is coming out and it's rotten, it will not hit the same. It will be contaminated like the way Catholics contaminate the gospel. That gospel will be contaminated. So there is this particular thing that I'm always saying. If you want to keep your oral hygiene, because some people, I hear that some people, your mouth can be rotten, but you don't know. So there's this thing. Me, I am a fashion designer, so I always have access to threads. Also, some people, your mouth might not be stinking, but you are interacting with somebody whose mouth is stinking, and you don't know that your mouth is not stinking, and this person knows their mouth is stinking. Sometimes destiny swapping can occur. Somebody can tell you your mouth is stinking, and theirs is the one that is stinking. Please, if you want to know if your mouth is stinking or not, take a thread or flossing, whatever, and just go to the molars and premolars and smell it. Do this at least 3 times in a week. Never let your mouth smell. The moment you do it and you feel that it is smelling, this does not lie to you. You do it, you put it and then you smell, it will never lie to you. This thing will smell if your mouth is smelling, and this thing will not smell if your mouth is not smelling. So please take control of your own. Don't wait for other people to tell you, oh, your mouth is smelling, oh, your mouth. You can do it alone. You can track it alone. So that you always make sure that your mouth is clean and sparkling clean, especially when you are casting spells, when you're praying, when you're speaking positive affirmations in your life. Don't speak positive affirmations in your life with a rotten mouth. It will rot the affirmation. And from the analogy of the leaven and unleavened bread, I think that is self-explanatory. So that will also help you. Now, mask. This is another way of spiritually protecting yourself. What's destiny swapping? Destiny swapping is when some people are evil and they rely on your unawareness, your ignorance of yourself. You'll meet somebody who their mouth is the one that is stinking so bad, and they'll if you don't know that your mouth doesn't stink, they'll keep telling you your mouth stinks. And they know that they're the ones whose mouth is stinking. Just to destiny swap. There are people who do that. Destiny swapping is somebody giving you their own clothes so that they wear yours. And if you dare wear their clothes, you automatically accepted them to wear yours. So always just hold your own self, seek your own validation, and find out your own truth by yourself so that you don't rely on other people telling you your truth. Don't rely on other people telling you your truth. People destiny swap. They will see how your 12 houses are, and they will wear it, and then they'll take their own 12 houses and wear it on you. And if you accept it, the only thing you need to do with destiny swapping is accept. The moment you accept it, you sign the contract. Now your mouth will start thinking. Because remember, where your energy goes, grows. What you dwell on, swell on. If you believe that your mouth stinks, it will start to stink. So kindly, how can we clean our mouth? Just clean your mouth. Me personally, I can only tell you what I use. I use charcoal, I use coconut oil, and then I use the non-fluoride toothpaste. So I'm always mixing non-fluoride toothpaste. I could show you here, but I don't want to. I'm always using non-fluoride toothpaste. Or should I? No, there's no need. I'm always using non-fluoride toothpaste, charcoal, activated charcoal. What is activated charcoal? You mix that charcoal with a little bit of neem or citric, and then plus coconut oil. Coconut oil, non-fluoride toothpaste. Those are what I use personally. other people use other things, but those are what I use personally. Somebody should. Sasa coconut, natumianga tu ile coconut oil ile tu ya shop. The coconut oil, and then I use also the charcoal non-fluoride Dabur toothpaste, and then I use my own charcoal. I make my own charcoal here. I crush my own charcoal here in my house, and then I mix it up with how do we call it? Ndimu that is grated, that is kama sukari. I use salt baking. Yeah, people use different things and it works. It works for different people. Oil pudding. Me, the coconut is my sister that introduced me to it. My sister told me the coconut oil is good. And since I started using it, I think it's good. So I just keep using it. How do you make the charcoal? I have a nyundo. Hey, mi sitaki kuonyesha vitu. But mnanisumbua. I have nyundo. Tara. I do it. I make sure that it is fine, and then I put it in a cup. And then I put it in my bathroom, plus the coconut oil on the separate, plus the non-fluoride toothpaste on the separate. So when I'm brushing my teeth, I put all of them together and I brush. No. Olive oil also does the same thing. Yeah. So people know. So just do your own research and find what works for you. Brand gani ya toothpaste? Nimesema Dabur. Hey, mera. Udwana. I'm the student, how we get there. But because you want to see, let me show you. No, this is what I use, first of all. I think a lot of people know it. It's Dabur. I just love the fact that they never put fluoride in it. And then coconut. This is what I use. And then this. You see? Yeah, this should show you that I'm always toothpasting. So don't think that it's dirty. It's always toothpasting. Can you see the nini? Yeah. Are you satisfied? Fluoride will block your ability to see far. Are you satisfied, mama.com? So always just, maintain your hygiene. And it is normal. But then let me tell you guys, it is normal sometimes, especially if you are a meat eater, if you're nilotic and you eat meat. It is normal for meat to get stuck in between your molars. So always just check and then smell. If it is smelling, do the due diligence, do the necessary. Do that checkup at least thrice. Me, I do it thrice a week. But when I'm eating meat a lot, I do it more often because also meat is always stuck in my mouth all the time when I'm eating meat because I have a lot of spaces on my teeth. But when I'm not eating meat, then I check it at least thrice a week. I don't use mouthwash. It's not my thing. Mouthwash is not my thing. If it's your thing, well and good. Me, it's not my thing. Me, these are the only thing I use. What do you do if it does smell? Clean. Just clean. Clean until when you check it's not smelling anymore, and then proceed with your life. And then make sure when you find it smelling, it means that you haven't checked for a long time. The only way you will find it smelling is if you haven't checked for a long time. And if somebody ever tells you that, hey, your mouth is smelling, just tell them, okay, let's check. And your mouth doesn't smell. Let's check. Let's check right now. So that people don't destiny swap with you, because kuna watu wa tabia mbaya. There are people who are demonic. They will want to destiny swap with you if they find you are not aware. Now let me continue. Yeah, me, I don't use mouthwash. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. I don't do anything that is uncomfortable. Anything uncomfortable, I don't do. I don't like doing anything that is uncomfortable. So when I find something is uncomfortable, mouthwash was uncomfortable to me when I was in university. I don't want it anymore. So the next way to spiritually protect yourself is mask. Masking. What is masking? Ta-da! So what is masking? Only show your true self to people who have proven and provided a safe space for it. Never show your true self to people who are dangerous to your authenticity. Remember, masking is all about authenticity. Masking is all about authenticity. Never reveal your true authenticity to people who are not safe. For example, like me right now, if I find myself among Catholics, I have no business being authentic. I have no business being authentic. So only show your true self to people who have provided a safe space for it. As for those who have not, mirror them and wear masks to match their vibration. Maybe you're somebody who you are homosexual and you are in the village somewhere. You are homosexual and you are in the village somewhere with the Legio Maria people. You going there and starting to be authentic that you know me, I'm homosexual. You'll be dead by dawn. You'll be dead by dawn. So just go, when you know you are homosexual and you've gone to Legio Maria, people in the village there, just act like, oh my God, but they, my man, I'm getting married tomorrow. I'm getting married tomorrow. But I have a really nice mask. If you know that you are in an environment where your authenticity is not safe, mirror them. What do they like? Masks. Show them that. Oh, I like this too. And then when you leave there, remove your mask and go about your business. So masking is a way to protect yourself. Never be afraid to mask. Never. It will save you a lot of trouble. It will save you a lot of turmoil. You don't need, it's not everybody here that is supposed to be agreeing with you. It's not everybody here that is supposed to, is on your soul tribe. Sometimes when you find yourself in certain places, just get out. You know, mask and then get out and go back to being yourself. Just make sure that you don't stay in a place that you're masking. You mask for 3 years. If you have to stay in a place for 3 years, then you have to, and you have to mask, then that is not a space for you. Masking is temporary. Masquerading. West Africans will tell you masquerading. Masquerading is a very temporary thing. You don't do it for too long. You don't stay in an area that your authenticity is not safe for too long. You leave. If you have to stay for too long, just tell them, I quit the job. Bye. See you later. Go where you are supported. Be authentic in spaces where you've been shown that you are safe. Now, Catholic, another way to protect yourself. The Catholic Church has an altar against all women. It doesn't matter whether you are a woman from the Caribbean. It doesn't matter whether you are a woman from the United States. It doesn't matter whether you are a woman from Kisumu. It doesn't matter whether you are a woman from Japan. The Catholic Church has a patriarchal altar against all women. So as a woman of the world, have an altar too. Normalize having an altar too. And inside this altar, deal with people you can't confront face to face. What is the function of an altar? Why do Catholics have an altar? To deal with people they cannot confront face to face. But then when you are with these people face to face, maybe somebody, you cannot beat them. You don't like their ideologies, you don't like the way they treat you, but you cannot beat them. Create an altar to deal with them. When you are with them, you mask to avoid physical confrontations. Because women have no strength to fight. Women, if you're a woman, if you're a baby girl like me, even though I have muscles on my hand a little bit here, I have no business fighting. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. So if you have no business fighting, you don't like confrontations, you have no strength, Just deal with people in your altar. Physical fights are for men. Women fight in the altar. Yeah, physical fight is messy. Have you ever fought someone? Even if after you, me, I've fought, and I was born a fighter. I was born a fighter. Even if you win the war, you are still umechoka. Umepata zako wewe pia. Nonsense, useless. Like, fighting reduces the energy. It reduces your energy. Even after you've beaten that person, you still lost energy. So it is a masculine thing. I've never fought physically since I was born. I was born fighting. I was born in a slum. So, when you're born in a slum and you're a woman, my dear, you will become masculine whether you like it or not. So me, I can fight. I was born fighting. But I don't like it. Yeah, unless when your life is under threat, when you're doing it to protect yourself actively, then it is necessary. But that one of just starting it, it's not. Fight to protect yourself when you have no other option. When you are ambushed, fight. For example, me, if you ambush me, I'll fight. Like, I remember being in university, I was ambushed. Nilinyorosha. So me, if you ambush me, I'll fight you. That's why I keep myself strong. But I will never start a war. Even if you do me dirty to which level, I'll never start a war with you. Unless you ambush me and you start beating me up. That one, self-defense. Hautapenda. So guys, always normalize having an altar.
Nothing.
To deal with people that you can't fight physically. Normalize having an altar to give back to your ancestors.
People say things.
Just the same way Catholics have already given us
You mean
the
you saw
master plan. The same way they also give gifts. You know, to apeleka.
So what does that mean? It's coming to Toronto, going to Toronto, it's coming this way?
They are taking offerings. It is the same system. Catholics, they even use ubani, they burn things. They use water. That's witchcraft in its fullest form. If you've ever been a Catholic, don't even go trying to look for witchcraft in another place. You've seen it all in its purest form. They have candles everywhere. They have water they're sprinkling. That is water sign. They have things they're burning. Air sign. So, and then they have that Eucharist to represent the earth sign. So they have an altar, a full altar that is working there. So everything they do in that particular altar, they pray against their enemies. They take offerings, you know, they summon. You do that too. You cramp 5D. Relax kwanza, mimi niendelee na kazi yangu. So this is another spiritual protection. Seek help from pattern recognizers if you feel defeated and weak. The universe will never leave a generation empty-handed. Every generation has their own pattern recognizers. You can be dating a husband who is killing your Capricorn energy and you don't know. Yeah, exactly. You can be dating somebody who is killing your Capricorn energy and you don't know, and you can never know because you don't know. And then you go to a pattern recognizer. They'll tell you, oh, it's your Capricorn energy that is depleted. Oh, is there a person in your life that is making you misuse yourself? And then you know. This is why people, they hate healers. They hate pattern recognizers. They hate the Heka masters. Why? Because the Heka master doesn't know you, but will pattern recognize for you. You come to me, I don't know you. I don't know the people you interact with. I only know you are 12 houses. And I can tell you what is happening with a particular house. And as I'm telling you what is happening with that particular house, you are able to see it is, oh, it's your sister. Oh, it's your mother. Oh, it's your husband. Oh, and it's always the people around you. So normalize seeking help. Some people are asking help from who? Your authenticity will guide you. When the student is ready, the helper appears. You just have to open yourself up and you will be shown, oh, this person by they can help you. Sometimes you'll even find them online here doing tarot readings. Respect those people, by the way. Respect the God's anointed people, respect them. Don't sit laughing at people who are doing the work for the people. Because remember, the people is God. Never disrespect somebody who is working for the people. The people are their own people too, to help them. And then another protection is embody the Wakanda slogan. Wakanda is a military philosophy, but embody the Wakanda slogan, which means intuition comes before memory. Keep your intuitive ideas, your intuitive revelations, and your intuitive wins alive and safe until your memory comes to embody them. For example, in your intuition, you see that you are a CEO. Don't go shouting at everybody, hey, I'm a CEO. I saw it in my dream. I'm a CEO. You are jeopardizing. The Wakanda slogan is, when you see you are a CEO, keep it safe. And in fact, start acting like a CEO until the CEO comes and justifies you and marries your intuition. So this is why spiritualists will always tell you, keep quiet a little bit. Don't say, before it has materialized. Just keep quiet, keep quiet. There's telepathic communication. Those who need to know will know by just looking at you. You don't need to come here telling people, I'm a spiritual healer, People who know telepathically, people who are related with your ancestors will see you and they will know exactly who you are. So never try to prove, never try to tell people, this is who I am, this is who I am. The people who know you will see you and know. And when the time comes, the time will come. And memory will come and marry that particular intuition that you've been working with. Lastly, when it comes to spiritual protection, limit sugar. What do I mean by limit sugar? Limit seeking sweetness outside yourself. Honor, you have no business being loved by everybody. As long as you love yourself, that's enough. Because it's only you that spends time with you. Out of the 24 hours a day, it is you that is always present with you the 24 hours a day. Stop seeking. Like, for example, right now we are in the era of social media. Some people cannot even post because they feel like sweetness is not going to come. Nobody's going to comment. Nobody's going to like. Limit sugar intake, because sugar intake causes cancer, especially if it is not a natural sugar. Self-produce sugar. Love your own things. Love your own self. Love your own identity.
No, it hasn't started. They
yourself.
said by now it's supposed to start, so.
And then you will limit the artificial sugars. What are the artificial sugars?
Do whatever you said that we.
Seeking
I know,
validation.
I want to do that.
Right now, me, I am on OnlyFans. I'll give you an example with myself.
Okay.
I'm on OnlyFans.
If
I
we
post
go
if I like my
and then
video,
we get stuck in traffic
and you know,
for like 3 hours
the
to come
people I
home,
have there,
would it
they're
have been worth it for you to go?
Shower me like, no. And I love that so much. As long as I love my video, I'm gonna post it. Even if they don't like it, it's fine. I'm okay with that. Some people are never okay with that. Some people are not okay with them just existing and nobody's clapping. That is, if you are like that, then you love sugar so much. And you need to tell your essence, limit sugar. Sugar causes cancer. Don't chase sugar. Just self-produce your own sugar. Be proud of the things that you do. Be proud of yourself. So much that when you post it and nobody likes it, now you stop. Some people, when they post it and nobody likes it, they start negative self-talk. That, oh, probably I'm ugly. Oh, probably I did something wrong. What? No. Be a self-producing sugar person. Because at the end of the day, this world is headed towards authenticity. If you rely on sugar so much, by the time people are too authentic, it will be like barter trade. The same way tarot readers are always posting saying, may it find only the people it is meant for. That is how you should be living your life. For you are supposed to only find the people it is meant for. And even if it is meant for 2 people, be okay with that. Because in the era of authenticity, it is like barter trade. If you post something and I don't, I wasn't ordering for it, I have no business liking it. But somebody who ordered for it will like it and fine, let's move on. But if you seek sugar, you want everybody to like it. Everybody, you're seeking sugar. Sugar causes cancer. It will make you enter into a state where you cannot live with yourself anymore. And how does sugar cause cancer? Sugar, when you seek sugar too much, you also give it too much. So much that you are simping. People simp for you, you are simping for people. Simping does not have any value.
People today have so much
sugar that comes from simping does not have any value. In fact, you need to stay away from sugar that comes from simping because it is draining, guys. Have you ever been with people? They are simping on you. They are simping on you so much that now they want you to react to everything they are saying. They want you to, laugh at every joke, even if it is not funny.
Something like that. Yeah.
Those are the cancer. Those are cancerous behaviors. You should always be authentic so much that when the joke it's not funny, you're okay, not laughing, and the person who is telling it is also okay, you not laughing. But when you grow up in sugar, then it becomes draining. And I know people who have experienced this. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's just okay to sit next to people and nobody's saying anything. I'm just quiet and I'm okay, and you're quiet there and you're okay. But if you are simps, then you cannot even sit together quietly. The simp is always wanting to suck from you. The simp is always wanting to suck from you. And you also want to just react. And it becomes a cancerous situation because it's not based on authenticity.
No biting.
Is somebody getting what I'm saying? Simping is, somebody's posting a post and you don't like that post. You've not even watched it to the end. It is not even relative to you, but you have to comment, oh my God, you are so amazing. You are posting so amazing.
What do you do now?
And that is artificial sugar. It causes cancer.
Please, ready? See? That one. Is it that one? What do you want?
Yeah.
Why did you do that
artificial sugar causes cancer. Learn to live by your own sugar. Impress yourself. Create your own dopamine. Do things that when you look at you're proud.
Yeah.
Have a bank account that when you look at you're proud. You are fetching sugar from your own self.
No.
And when you fetch sugar from your own self, you'll meet people who give you natural sugar as well. They truly like what you're doing. They truly like what you're putting out. And they're giving you true compliments. Please, if you're getting it, that is one way to protect yourself. Because when you simp and you open yourself up to simping, it opens you up to energy vampires. And sometimes energy vampires, they get into your life as a simp. And then they come and they want to take your entire life. They want to take... It's not good, though. It's not good. Now, spiritual rituals.
Do it.
Yeah, you are your only competition. How can I reduce sugar consumption? By validate yourself. Seek your own validation. Look at yourself in the mirror and be okay and be content with what you see. When you're creating content, be okay and be content with what you see, even if nobody likes it. And be okay getting no views. Be okay getting few views. Be okay getting a lot of views. It's okay. Whichever direction it's going, it's fine. Some people, right now we have like this creating of videos for subscribers only. And when you're creating videos for subscribers only, it doesn't get as much engagement as when it gets when you put it out there. But some people cannot even post for subscribers only because they are afraid of getting low engagement. They're used to getting many. You don't know how much seeking of sugar has stopped so many people from actually progressing because they are in constant seeking of sugar. It creates cancer. Be also okay with going down and actually being with yourself. And actually being the only one that appreciates you. If somebody else comes and appreciates you, fine. But limit sugar intake. Yeah, limit sugar intake. Limit sugar intake and just be. Create. When you are able to create, create. When you're not able to create, don't create. Just be. Just be and be okay with being. Are we together up to that particular point? Because when you are in a constant state of chasing, it will even buy you from starting over. It will buy you from starting over. You will never start over again. You will never move to different platforms to start from scratch because you want to always sugar. No, don't chase sugar from within yourself. Now, spiritual rituals, what do rituals do? Rituals come from Levitical laws. Rituals come from Levitical laws. So now in the Old Testament, which is the true testament, we have Genesis. Genesis is talking about your birth and your path to the great circle of life. Genesis is talking about your path, your genesis, your gene structure, and the path that you need to follow towards Milele. That's what you are doing at Genesis. And then after Genesis, you have Exodus. Exodus is you living your parental harbor. You leaving your parents' house. You leaving the slavery. You, the Israelites, leaving Egypt. And then after the Israelites have left Egypt, they meet the Levitical laws, the Leviticus. Leviticus are rituals to help you in the wilderness after leaving Egypt. Guys, even school is Egypt. We are born into a structural system that doesn't give us independence. There's no freedom to any child. No child has a freedom. So the Bible talks about this in the Old Testament. And in the first 5 books, we have Genesis that is talking about this child being born and their structure, their genetic structure, and their path towards Milele. And then Exodus is when now this child is independent enough to leave their parental care to develop their own independence. The moment you develop your own independence, you find yourself in the wilderness. When you find yourself in the wilderness, that is when Leviticus comes into play, which are the rituals. Leviticus is all about rituals to help the Israelites navigate the wilderness. Rituals to help you navigate your life after that, after you've left a divorce. After you've left that toxic relationship, you enter into the wilderness. After you've graduated from university, you enter into the wilderness. After you've moved out from your parents' house, you enter into the wilderness. After you've left a job into a new job, you enter the wilderness. So Levitical laws are usually there to help you navigate the wilderness. Now, Numbers. After Levitical laws, now we have Numbers. When you've mastered the wilderness, the ancestors start to speak to you. And the process of the ancestors speaking to you is what we call Numbers. And then after the ancestors speak to you, they will reveal to you what everything is in the great circle of life. And that is what Deuteronomy is all about. Deuteronomy is the revelation as you enter Milele, which is the promised land. So what is the promised land? When you're born, you have a promised land, which is your adult version, your adult avatar. Every child has it. Every child that is born has a promised land that they are going towards. And that's what all we are doing. All of us are moving towards the promised land. All of us are moving towards Milele. And it is the same Milele that your mother was moving towards that you're currently moving towards. It is the same Milele that your ancestors were moving towards that you're currently moving towards. And so, Deuteronomy is the revelation that you get as you enter Milele, which is the promised land. So, these particular books, we are going to focus on the Leviticus. Rituals are there to help you in the wilderness when your body has just come from Egypt and is still not used to the unity of your individual unison. The promised land is different from everybody, especially in our timeline, my dear Linus. Linus Paulina, in our timeline, you cannot say that Milele is this and this and this because we have ancestors that move. It's like, you see that game where, that running where I have a stick, I run, I give it to somebody, they run, they give it to somebody. So we are in the 21st century. We started from the 1st century. Ancestors have been running different races. Too much that by the time we are here now, people are different. In different ages, people are getting to Milele at different ages, depending on how your ancestors reign behind there. So we cannot say an age. But if you're moving by logic of the astrological placement, the only time that I'm aware of is the time when you move away from Egypt, which is at the age of 24. 2 Jupiters, 2 full Jupiters make you the age of 24. That is when you move away from your parental guidance, from your parental dependence, and then into your own independence. But people have it different. Some people, they move out of their parental dependence at age 18. Some people, they move at age 16, depending on where their ancestors left them. But the planets are also always showing how the ages go. Though remember, our timeline is different. Yeah. So, rituals are there to help you in the wilderness when your body has just come from Egypt and is still not used to the unity of your individual unison. Rituals enable your body to ground in the present moment in unity in order for you to move and change direction successfully. Rituals enhance your tunnel vision, helping you focus on the goal until light shows up at the end of the tunnel. Rituals help you clean up the stains you obtained while still in Egypt, while still under your parental care, while still with your ex, while still with your former. By bringing those triggers to the surface to test your ability to dodge and fall back into old patterns. So rituals are there to help you dodge old patterns so that you can pave away for new patterns. It is Levitical laws, which are rituals, that enabled the Israelites to fall back into, not to fall back, I mean, it is the Levitical laws that enabled the Israelites not to fall back into Egypt or back into slavery. So every time you leave your ex, this happens with everybody. Spirituality is the study of our collective consciousness. Anytime you leave your ex, you will always be tempted to go back. Anytime you leave an old job, you will always be tempted to go back. Anytime you leave home to become independent, you will always be tempted to go back. Always, you will always be tempted to go back into slavery, into prison. And so it is the Levitical laws that come to help you dodge that return. Immediately after you do a ritual, you begin being tested. Rituals are not a free pass. Some people come to me, I give them ritual, they think it's a free pass. They think if I tell them, go slaughter this goat. Now they think it's just a free pass that, oh, now I'm done. Now everything is going to move in you. And no! Rituals, immediately after you do a ritual, you begin being tested, because rituals are not a free pass, but rather rituals give you a chance to solely focus on the issue at hand and enable you to make a move in the direction of withdrawing your attention from that path that you are not, that was not of your highest good. So for example, you have an issue with your sister, let's say, or your aunt, and then you go for a ritual. This ritual is not going to make your aunt disappear. This ritual is going to bring that, it is going to blur everything, to black out everything, so that you only remain with this auntie of yours, so that you wrestle them until they disappear. You are still the one to do the work. Because if you come to me for a ritual between you and your aunt, and then I give you something to do, and then you're not ready to let go of your aunt, you fall back into the pattern. The success of a ritual is entirely dependent on your readiness and strength to commit to yourself. When you pass, you elevate, and ascend, and when you fail, you decelerate and descend. The success of any ritual is entirely dependent on your readiness and strength to commit to yourself. When you pass, you elevate and ascend. When you fail, you decelerate and descend. When you decelerate and descend, all you are ritualizing will blow up in your face. So always only do ritual when you are ready to let go, when you're ready to move, to choose yourself. Some people, they come for a ritual, they're not ready to choose themselves. So the ritual makes them, test them. Are you going to choose yourself now? Are you going to choose yourself now? And then you fail. You decelerate and everything blows up in your face. You have to be willing to ascend. You have to be willing to commit, to enter into the ring and fight tooth and nail until that particular obstacle is cleared. A ritual is there to test your dedication towards solving the problem at hand. It doesn't take the problem away, but rather creates a space where you can deal with that problem and solve it to infinity once and for all. There's no free pass. Even in African spirituality, there's no free pass. Wow, intuitively, I only do rituals when I'm ready. Yeah, and that is what is recommended. After a ritual, it is advisable that you immediately change to match the solutions you seek, because the changes from a ritual rarely announce their arrival. They are gradual. The moment you start, even before you start doing that ritual already, the changes start to align. Are we together?
It just stays right where it is. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know today I've stayed for longer, but I hope I did not overload your system. I know I've taught a lot of things also, but I hope you've grasped what you've grasped. I hope I did not overload your system. You know, I've taught a lot today. But yeah, I hope the people who are meant to get what was meant to get, I hope you got what you're meant to get. But that is the end. That is the end. Somebody's asking about the entire book of Leviticus, the entire book of Genesis, the entire book of Exodus, the entire book of Leviticus, the entire book of Numbers, the entire book of Deuteronomy. They are talking about your journey from birth to millennium. Your journey from birth to eternal life is what the book of Genesis is talking about. Your birth. The book of Exodus is talking about you living your birthplace. The book of Leviticus is talking about you being in the wilderness. The book of Numbers is talking about your ancestors talking to you. And then the book of Deuteronomy is talking about the last revelation of the promised land.
Whatever advice you get, you think about it, and then she makes a decision.
Okay.
Sickle cell. The meaning is in the word. The cells that are sick. Why are the cells becoming sick?
Don't go to a bank advice. Go to like a...
Because they are not getting. There's a way in which your consciousness is suppressing the normal function of oxygen, of energy flow. Your system is disrupting the normal flow of energy in and out of your cells. So that is what makes the sickle cell, the cell that change shape in order to accommodate what you want. Your body is always doing what you want. Even if your body is going into a state of disease, it is doing what you want. Somebody is asking me about when you bloat fast. Most of the time bloating is you being scared to analyze. People bloat when they are meeting their crush. When you go on a date with your crush, you will bloat. Why? Because you are afraid to analyze. Am I doing evil? Am I accepting evil? Always ask your, if you don't want to bloat, always anywhere, even if you are seated with the President of America, always ask, am I doing evil or am I accepting evil? Because when you reach a point where you are not asking that question anymore, bloating is what is going to fall. You are unaogopa kunyama. Anyway, guys, today I've stayed for long. Just allow me to leave, to make my leave now, and then another time we will continue. Please take what I've given and allow me to leave. Otherwise, I'm going to be seeing you again. I'll see OnlyFans on Saturday, and then you guys, I'm seeing you on Sunday. Where's Umekuja late? So I'm going to be seeing you guys on Sunday. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I'm going to be ending this with the anthem as I leave. I love a bye by you always. I receive, my dear. I receive. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Sim Sima, ooh, got the key to my blood clots, Bima.
Oh.
Let's see.
Afrika Mashariki tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano, vile msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tuijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Yeah, so let me listen to this.
Yeah, she made rice and seaweed.
That though keeping something back, they did not admit the fact, but pretended that they had given all. There are many today who follow their example. I hope this story is not true, because the apostle was certainly somewhat severe upon them.
I want to pray for your feet as you step into the new year. I pray for the Spirit of God to rest upon you as it rested on the prophet Elijah when he out.
Come on.